And then we got Escape later on, who, if I remember correctly, she was like programmed to be more loyal, and she is loyal. She is loyal to the end, to Messiah, and her whole thing that's really interesting. First, beautiful actress they got to play her. I thought she was really good looking. um, and she definitely plays evil well. I mean, she's nowhere close as Melee, I think, in both of beauty and probably acting talent and all that. But she was really bloodthirsty. It seemed all she wanted to do was shoot and destroy and kill, not necessarily for a goal. Just like Messiah said, go over there and cause havoc, and that's basically what she did. Oh, and I love the idea how Escape has. Okay, so Enter has like a laptop he uses to create monsters. Escape has an iPad. That's clever. I like that because I almost thought that Escape was going to take over as the villain of the series. But that wasn't the case. They really did kind of work in tandem with each other, and that was okay. Um, but I wanted to see more of her, definitely. But we don't get too much of their personalities in there. They are stock in a way, but I do appreciate that they're human and not somebody in costume because I have a problem with that in a lot of the series. I think the shows that have human villains in Sentai are always better than the costume villains. I mean, yeah, you can have a mix in there, but if your main protagonist is an actual person, I just find that a lot more interesting. There's always a lot more you can go ahead and do with that. The only thing I would say is towards the end, the villains did get Saturday morning cartoonish in a way. Because Enter's whole thing was just about becoming a new Messiah and becoming a god, basically. Pretty generic, no real motivation for it and stuff. And he learns to copy the Go Buster's powers. He becomes the Dark Buster and all that kind of stuff. So it was okay. I just wish there was more motivation behind it. I wish there was more complex character story because that's the thing with, like, again, I keep saying this as a great example, Rio and Melee, great character dynamic with them. You have a motivated backstory for Rio and you feel bad for him when he eventually dies. So, but you don't feel that way for Enter. Now I kind of feel bad for Escape because what they eventually did, which I both like and I didn't like, um, is that basically she was killed and then Enter had created a copy of her from backup data. But it was backup data from before she was introduced in the series, before she met the Go Busters. So basically, she'd do her opening spiel like, are they any good, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And that was her thing, too. She always wanted to live up to Papa Messiah's standards. Like, did I do good? Was I good enough for you? And stuff like that. And Escape was completely loyal. But she was killed. And Enter kept making copies of her. She would die, bring her back to life, but she was now obedient to Enter, who was now basically merged with Messiah. That was his end game, was to merge with Messiah data and become Messiah, basically. So she would keep dying, bringing her back. She'd be more powerful. He would use her to ends. And the thing is that I didn't like this because it wasn't the same character. Basically, it was the same actress playing 6 or 7 different characters. Because there was this whole thing about her rivalry with the Blue Ranger. Like, you are good, but I'm better kind of thing. And they would be fighting at every encounter, which is kind of odd. I don't recall the last time that a female villain was fighting a male villain that was not the Red Ranger or essentially a love interest or anything. So I did like that. But once once Messiah deleted her, then we didn't see that rivalry anymore. We didn't see that connection she had to the Blue Ranger. The closest you get is at the end when she dies for the last time. She's not coming back. She asks Papa, "Was I any good?" And the Blue Ranger basically looks over her as she's dying and says, "Yes, you were." And then she dies happy, apparently. That doesn't mean anything to her character anymore because it's not her, it's a different character. The person that line belongs to died 4 or 5 episodes earlier. The Blue Ranger, I appreciate him saying that because he knows even for a villain, she's being treated horribly just to be a copy and not a real person anymore, I guess. Um, it was kind of bothersome. I'll have to go ahead and say. I didn't like what they did there. I really wanted to see a natural conclusion to the Blue Ranger and Escape rivalry. We didn't get that, and that was very, very disappointing. And I wish there was an opportunity to go back and change it somehow. I mean, they're going to bring her back in the Go Buster versus Kyoryuger movie. It's probably going to be the same thing. It's the backup data. She's not going to know who any of these people are. So, yeah, it's one of those things. But what can you do about it now? And then, of course, there's Messiah, the last villain I want to go ahead and talk about. Um, I really want to know more about him. I know he's just a computer program. I want to know these fits of anger that he's having. I always thought that he was like the Wizard of Oz in a way, like don't look behind the curtain. That there was something else going on to what he was, but that wasn't the case. He was straight up evil. He was a computer program. He was taken out more than halfway through the series and all that, and there was more they could have done with it and stuff. And yeah, I guess all I have to say about him is like I really wanted to see more. I wanted it to be Messiah, not Enter, be the main bad guy and all that. But again, that's just me rewriting the story. I just enjoyed his character a little bit more.